You derailed the train. Now you got
Our final act is Emily Tan. She really is an amazing poet, slam poet, and she is going to slam it.
Now, all of my poems so far have been about like personal issues of mine and such, and this is no different. Except this one's like six freaking pages, and the rest are like 5. I don't know how I can fit that in 3 minutes. And I'm really nervous and I might speed up, but whatever. When you were little, you thought everything was okay. You thought this for years on end, but it wasn't until middle school that you realized that everything wasn't. The childlike naivety was gone now, and your entire family wasn't okay anymore. And you think to yourself, why didn't anyone tell me? Why did you think I could handle this? Why didn't you tell me you tried to kill yourself in middle school? But you realized it was probably for the best, because you're only 12 when you realized you weren't quite like the others, 12 years old and 5'1.5" when you realized you weren't quite like the other kids in school. You were 12 when you were depressed, 12 when you thought of suicide, 12 when you thought you were too worthless to have such an easy escape. And you thought to yourself every night, I probably deserve this for being such a terrible person. And to this day, you still sometimes think this. 12 when you were in despair, 13 when you thought you got out of it, so happy you could sing one morning. You took on the day without worry, and the light finally came into your life again. You were 13 when you thought you were free, and 13 when you realized the box you trapped in was made of glass. You wonder to this day if anyone actually noticed how you felt. At 12, you walked down the schools automatically, a fleshy automaton with whirling gears and springs. At 13, you walked and didn't walk with such autonomy. In 14, you kept walking. You were 14 when you were in your first relationship, 14 when you were dumped, 14 when you realized it didn't hurt so much, and 14 when you got back up from pushing yourself to the ground over and over again for being a complete idiot. For thinking you were a complete idiot. And to this day, you still sometimes think this. You were 15 when you realized you weren't the puppet anymore, but the one behind the strings, and you took those ropes and pulleys and tried to make something beautiful out of something horrible, but no one noticed. And therefore, you didn't know it was okay. You were 15 when you need to pull yourself together. After 3 or 4 years of manic thought and flow, thinking of what would have happened if you didn't bring this upon yourself, didn't speak out, didn't lose your voice, didn't stand quiet. You had to remind yourself that it shouldn't matter anymore. And what does matter is that you started eating again to make up for all the weight you lost during middle school on a diet called depression. You were 15 when you reached for the stars but crashed and burned because your spaceship wasn't ready yet. And you looked into the void as twinkling lights, and you fell to the earth when you thought to yourself that those lights were mocking you, telling you you would never reach the light, the horizon, or cross the finish line because you weren't good enough. You were 12 when you pushed yourself. You were 13 when you pushed yourself. You were 14 when you pushed yourself. And 15 when you wished history wouldn't repeat itself. Knowing that over and over again your failure forces you to look back and mocks you like a broken record, and you can't stop when you wish you could. You were 12 when you first felt everything was pointless, and that continued on for more than 3 years. You entered high school hoping everything would change, but the box you were in just got a little bit bigger and didn't leave a glare of sun on glass. So you realized that you felt like your classes were tedious, and marching band a mocking representation of your life, following commands without question, and you forward marched into another depressive bout where you played soldier, but without the guns, because the only person you were hurting was yourself while heading into battle. At 15, you wished history wouldn't repeat itself. At 16, history repeated itself. At 16, you were the golden child, doing as you're told, silent, strong, and stoic. You stood within a fury that no one ever heard of. Your center a pot of water reaching its boiling point, where you decided to take matters into your own hands and play double agent. Your brother played the role of depressive suicidal, and you played the older brother he never had. Your sister played the bad example, and you played the ideal, letting your parents fall into your hands like they did to you all those years. And you molded away at the idea your parents wanted. You tried to fit yourself as well as you could. But you were never all that experienced with working with clay, and it broke as it heated in the kiln. You wondered wonder to this day if anyone actually noticed how you felt. At 12, you walked down the schools automatically, a fleshy automaton with whirling gears and springs. At 13, you walked and didn't walk with such autonomy. In 14, you kept